In this video, we're going to quickly touch base on creating and editing users and talk a little bit about permissions and the future of permissions. So let's start with kind of some of the interface here. We have our list of users. We have the different settings and things we can adjust to those users. We have our permissions, notes, roles. Let's go ahead and add a new user. Let's see. Let's call it YouTube test. All right. Then our password. Let's see. Okay, cool. So it is hidden here, which is great. And we can hit the, let's see. And then we can hit this to see it. I'm going to hide it and retype something else. Right. And we have the role. So we have different roles, and we have role management, which we'll talk about in another video as we're still working out the full area of permissions and adding and editing these different roles. But we'll say for this user is going to be an admin. And you'll see all your permissions, and we'll be able to auto select all the ones based on the role that you submitted. Which we're still working out all the kinks for the permissions roles, but you can still go through and manually set these. There we go. And now we can test logging in as that user real quick. Great, and since it's an admin, we should be able to go back and do the rest. So we can search here for our users. So we got YouTube test. Now YouTube test doesn't have any user information attached to it. It's just the username and a password and the role. And then we can go to the user information here to define it. Right, and then we just save that, and then that user is then updated. Right. Now we also have a time clock. So if you have to manually adjust any kind of time clock information, if they missed a day or didn't clock in correctly, an admin can come back here and manually select these. So let's say I was here on the 1st. I came in at 12, left in at the 1st. And then I left at 7:35. Add that record. And now we can see that time clock adjustment. We can also adjust it, edit it if we need to. Right, and then we can go back here and see that it was edited for test. 7.6 hours. And we can also generate a report for time clock information for that employee. Schedule something that's coming later. But basically, you'll be able to set the expected schedule, and then we can see when they clocked in, when they didn't clock in, see if they missed time, anything like that, later on in the future. Let's see, so now you can see in the users list the name of that user instead of just the username itself, and updated. And now let's say somebody leaves and you don't want to necessarily delete accounts, so you have the option to delete. But let's say you just want to lock them out, or you don't want to lose their information, or you haven't gone over it yet, or maybe something happened where you're like, I want to keep their information, but we just don't want to see it on the screen anymore. We can just select it. We'll make sure you'll see it all pop up over here, and then we can make it inactive. Oh, no, that's just to see who's inactive. One second, let's see. So we go over here. Oh, that's right, it's right here. So we can lock this account. So you sure you wish to lock them. This account will be inaccessible until unlocked. So now you see it remove them off this list. They can also no longer log in or anything like that. And now we can see Beachom is listed in here. Let's go ahead and delete Beachom. It looks like it stays auto-populated there, but they are deleted. Okay, now we're going to talk about switching users. So oftentimes multiple people are going to be using the same computer, which are assigned their own POS ID, but multiple users can switch between them pretty quickly. So here on this bottom left, you see this plus icon and this expansion icon. We can expand to see everybody who's currently logged in, and we can press the plus to log somebody else in. And now that somebody else is logged in, we can see that it's Scott M, which is the username we're always logged into over here. So you got Scott M, YouTube test, and I can simply click on it, which will auto-populate the username, and then we can just type in its password again. And it brings us right back to the page that we were at and switches the user, so that I am now set as YouTube test, and again I can switch back. And you want to do this whenever somebody's taking over something. So like you're in the middle of a transaction, somebody takes over, you switch your user real quick. It can be a PIN number that you use for passwords or whatever your team wants to do. We can also adjust on the fly, kind of unrelated to users, but we'll put it in here. We'll also talk about it in other places, but you can click up top here to update which device that you're on. So this is so we say everything's done by an ID. So dev room 1 is maybe ID 1, and then somebody else's computer might be, listed as them. So here's me, here's my computer, Ryan. I'm going to switch to that one. And you can also switch your locations. You have multiple stores, and you want to say that this is the inventory or the transactions that we're operating under. And you can switch between those there too. But also when a user gets in, if they haven't already been prompted to, they can hit their time clock right here. And this one does make them re-clock in. Or re-sign in, sorry. So it says it's currently clocked out. Would you like to clock in? Current time that you're clocking in. You say yep. And then we can hit time clock again. It says I'm currently clocked in and I want to clock out. Great. And if I am reviewing that user, we should see time clock, no hours, from today's time to today's time. So we can see everybody's clock in results that way. And that should pretty much cover a majority of users, switching users, clocking in, clocking out. When we have the end of day functions video, you'll be able to see more of that and the start of the day. So when you start the day, you'll be prompted to clock in after you've signed in for the first time. And when you log out, if you're still clocked in, it'll warn you that you're still currently clocked in. But you can also hit this X right here, and when you hit that X right there, that will log you out if you're an active user. And that should be everything. We'll be on to the next video.